Today is the kickoff of, of Thanksgiving with Wendy. It's our Thanksgiving with Wendy Watch and Win sweepstakes. And yeah, I started without you all. I heard you. I love you too. The Watch and Win sweepstakes are on beginning today. If you win, then we'll fly you and a friend to New York City. You'll get VIP tickets right here for the show. And we're also going to share a special holiday meal together. Now, for me personally, Thanksgiving is not necessarily my favorite meal, the dry turkey, the yams and stuff like that. So I haven't decided where we're going to go to eat, but wherever it is, I want to be sure that it's anything but Thanksgiving food, but really good food. Like, I'd like to have some ribs. Right? Like food, comfort food, just not Thanksgiving food. Anyway, we'll share a meal and we'll have kitchen table talk. So what you're looking for is the word of the day. When you see the word of the day pop up during the show, you're gonna log on to my Facebook page and like it and then enter today's word for your chance to win. Good luck. Yeah. So Chris Brown is in trouble again. Is anyone surprised? No. You gotta figure, once you beat a woman to a pulp, you're pretty much, you know, all bets are off for any type of decency until you go and get the help that you need, which apparently he hasn't. So he was arrested and charged with felony assault over the weekend for punching a man in the face outside of a DC hotel. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And according to TMZ, there are two versions of the story. The first version is the man says that he tried to photobomb Chris Brown. Chris Brown was allegedly taking a picture with a couple of girls, and the man jumped in the background. And that Chris allegedly yelled a gay slur to him and punched him in the face. There's another source saying that that the man, the stranger, tried to enter Chris's tour bus, which was sitting right outside the hotel and easily accessible, except why wouldn't they see there's the tour bus? Well, that's a job for the security. See, my thought about Chris Brown is that he's just a hothead. And, you know, there's no big explanation for why he acts the way he does. He's allowed to get away with it. He's a hothead by nature. Prison time is inevitable for him, whether it's through this incident where they say he faces, I think, 4 years because he's violated probation. He's still on probation from 2009, beating Rihanna to a pulp. So now they say that he faces 4 years in prison. And I think that 2 years will probably do him real well. If he doesn't go to prison this time, it'll be another time because Chris Brown is out of control. And everybody allows him to be. So, you know, as beautiful as his music is, he's out of his mind. Let's move along. By the way, you know, he had to spend, you know, this all happened over see, the thing about getting put in jail over the weekend is that you have to wait until Monday morning to see the judge. Now, no word on whether this was Friday at midnight going into Saturday morning or whether this was Thursday going into Friday. I don't know. All I know is that he spent all weekend getting a tune-up for how life will be if he doesn't keep his hands to himself. The tea is excellent this morning, really lemony and good. Julianne Hough caused a stir over the weekend. Well, she went to, I know, we don't normally think of her as stirring. Just dancing and smiling and stuff. Well, she showed her ignorant side when she showed up to a Halloween party wearing blackface. Like, who does that? Now, you know who she's supposed to be. She's dressed as, do you watch that show, Orange is the New Black? She's dressed as Crazy Eyes from the show. I don't know what part of stupid, or excuse me, less than smart she is. Who walks out of the house in blackface? Like, wow, Julianne. And I don't know whose party she was at, but you have to figure this. This was like an intentional move. This was not something that happened all of a sudden and then she said, oh, is this racist? You put thought into your Halloween costume. I've known what I've wanted to wear for over 40 days and I've been dieting accordingly, you know. Suzanne, I've talked to you about what I want to be for Halloween. Yeah, I've talked to everybody on the staff. I've talked to my mom and dad. Like you talk about your Halloween costume. You don't just show up in blackface, which means she's not just less than smart off the cuff, she's less than smart even when she thinks about it. That would be similar, I would imagine. By the way, she did apologize for the backlash, I mean, that she's been getting. And here's what she said. She said, It certainly was never my intention to be disrespectful or demeaning to anyone in any way. I realize my costume hurt and offended people. I truly apologize. Do you give her a pass because she grew up someplace way out there where they don't know a lot of black people? Well, she grew up someplace where there weren't a whole lot of black people, and she grew up Mormon. She only thought that there was one kind of alcohol until she, I guess, arrived to Hollywood and discovered you could drink something different, you know, every minute of the day. You know, so does she get a pass because she grew up out there? Because I'm thinking that there's books and there's internet and there's TV. Even if you grew up in a cabin in the woods, as long as you have books, internet, and TV, the world is your oyster. You should know better. And that would, I would imagine, go the same for, you know, our Asian friends. Like, if you're gonna be a geisha girl for Halloween, you do everything but geisha eyes and very, very alabaster skin. Do you do that? You all don't know? Well, if you don't know, I wouldn't suggest that's the costume that you wear. That's all I'm saying. Let's move along. These little Kardashian girls are a problem. Well, the youngest ones are causing a bit of backlash, everybody. People magazine is saying that Kylie, who, you know, is 16, and Jaden Smith, son of Will and Jada Smith, and a group of friends reportedly showed up to the Beverly Hills Hotel and requested alcohol and bottle service. And now this little boy looks every bit like a little boy. He's 16 or 15 or something, but doesn't he look like 12 or 9? You know, at first, wouldn't you say to him, "Where's your mother?" Or aren't you supposed to be in school? But I guess if everybody knows that he's Will and Jada's kid, then he's treated with the same carte blanche as everybody else in Hollywood, I guess. I don't know. They were turned down for the bottle service and the liquor. And then Kylie reportedly berated the staff with the classic line, "Do you know who I am?" And then she stormed away. They know who you were, but they knew that you were up to things. You know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't know what you were doing when you were 16, but I was big enough to have a fake ID and, you know, statuesque enough. Listen, I can tell you I was up to things when I was 16 and they involved a fake ID and red lipstick and looking a little bit older because I wanted to do grown things. They're not doing anything different than what many of us did when we were kids. It's just that they do it in such a belligerent way. Like, how dare you sashay into the lobby of a well-appointed hotel, you know, and, talking about, you know, we want some bottles, or don't you know who I am? That just horrible entitlement. Now, a lot of people are saying that Kylie and Kendall, you know, 16 and 17, the Kardashian Jenner girls, are going through it because their parents just announced their divorce. Well, I say any excuse is better than none. Weren't you always ready with your excuse if your mom and dad caught you with weed or cigarettes or booze at 16? I was always ready with mine. Well, it's because you call me fat. Well, it's because I have pressure about where I'm gonna go to college, even though I don't leave for 3 years. You always have an excuse to make your parents feel bad over things that you would just do because that's what the kids do your age. I don't believe that they're going through it because of this divorce, because I think that long before we, John Q. Public, find out about a divorce, there's always a lot of, you know, a lot of fighting inside the household. So I'm sure to all the kids, this divorce comes as no surprise. I don't believe that they're being pressured to do schoolwork because they're not in school. You know, they're homeschooled by, I guess, that mother. And you can see how much time she spends with them by all the globe-trotting she does. And then Bruce seems to have checked out of life. He's grown his hair into a ponytail and he's picking up the Star magazine, reading about his own daughters on the cover with them being out of control. And what that hair is, I have no idea. Bruce is just letting it all hang out now that he's separated from that woman. Congratulations, Bruce. Spend more time with your daughters. I stayed in the house all day yesterday. I started dinner at 12 o'clock. I made an oven stuffer, which, you know, those always sound so complicated, but they're so easy. You know, you thaw them out, you put it in the oven, you wait for that needle to pop up, you pour some onion soup over the top. Your family loves it. You know, the baby asparagus, and what else did I make? I made a little stuffing, but the stovetop kind, and then after it's done, then you put it in the oven stuffer, like all fancy, like your family gets really impressed, especially if you start rattling the pots like 12 o'clock, because then they think you're about to go in like your mom and grandma did, you know? Dinner was finished by like 3 o'clock. I was free watching TV and dyeing wigs and doing stuff all day. In preparation for my nighttime activity, which was flipping between the football game to make the house happy and watching Nene and Greg get remarried on last night's episode of I Dream of Nene. Nene invited a lot of celebrity guests. As a matter of fact, it seemed like all celebrity guests. There's Candy and, you know, some of the other girls from some of the other franchises. I know Patti Stanger was there with her fiance from The Millionaire Matchmaker, and Judge Mathis, you know, that court judge from TV, he's the one who officiated. It was a very celebrity. There's Vivica A. Fox. It was very, very celebrity driven. Probably the most biggest surprise for Nene and maybe some of her guests is that, you know, Kim Zolciak was invited and she came there with Croy, and here they are putting their beef aside.
For me.
So it was nice to see them, and it's nice to see Nene happy. The ring was absolutely gorgeous, but I came to, now the show is over, and I've come to 2 conclusions. Number 1, I made a mistake by saying everybody needs a friend like Diana. Oh, no, they don't. I said that to you weeks ago when the show first starts. Diana is a psycho out of her mind. She's like the friend who, if she can't have you, nobody will, and she'll stab you. And also, everyone does need a friend, though, like Cynthia Bailey. She's not necessarily the strongest woman, but her heart is into friendship, and she is the type that will make you feel comforted and loved, and she won't tell your secrets, in my mind. Cynthia can keep confidence. And the other conclusion that I came to is that this I Dream of wedding should have never happened because, like I said, I don't care about people getting married on TV. That's just me. I like Bridezilla. Like when it's crazy and ratchet, that's when I care. I don't care about that. The show that should have been made with Nene is Nene Goes to Hollywood, and Nene navigates her way through movie studios to get jobs and do work like that. Like I didn't care about the wedding thing, so I'm glad that that's over. And so the next thing that we'll see Nene in and the girls are Housewives of Atlanta. And then my thought is, after that, this might be the last season of that show. Like, I don't know where else they can go with the show and everybody's plots, even though the teaser looks good. And then if it's the last season of that show, will people ever care about Nene Goes to Hollywood? Because that, to me, is still the special that needs to be made. Only, since it wasn't made now, will people care later? Because people only have an attention span of this. And you've done very well in Atlanta, though, by holding our attention, all of you, for 5 seasons. It's just that I think after this season, it might be over. Anyway, hey, Greg, and Greg's teeth. Hey, Nene, and Nene's finger waves. And congratulations. So this business about JayZ and Barney's. Now, this has made national news at this particular point. Barney's here in New York. JayZ is partnering with Barney's. It's a high-end department store. And his stuff was supposed to be out in... What the hell? Like, we know you got it, but really? Really? Okay, so, you know, I checked, and this is like, you know, $250,000 piece, and we know he's got it, but it just looks, does that chain look crazy, or is it just me? Like, just black. We all are guilty at some point or another of being stereotypic to where we come from. This right here is very black. Anyway, last week, Barney's, the department store, came under fire when 2 young black customers were racially profiled in the store. One young man spent over $300 on a Ferragamo belt, allegedly. He was racially profiled. I say alleged, even though growing up a black girl myself into a woman, I'll just say alleged to be politically correct, because you know how these department stores can be sometimes. Not all of them, and not everybody in them. And then another young lady was racially profiled. She'd gotten her tax return check and decided instead of saving for something, to take it over there and get her a Celine bag for almost $3,000. Now, look, she had the money, she paid her bill, they should have left her alone. But what they did is they followed, these are separate incidences. Allegedly, security followed the boy outside and then, you know, not roughed him up physically, but you know, wanted to see his receipt, and he had everything. The boy who purchased the belt had everything. And then the girl in a separate case, the one with the Celine bag, she was all the way going down the steps to the subway, and security got her. Now, anybody familiar with shoplifting knows that they can't touch you once you hit the sidewalk. I had an incident back when I was in 8th grade, but it got expunged, and I went on to be, I'm a nice woman now. Sometimes you have to go through things, though, in life to understand that your parents will kick you behind and that no good will come to you if you do that again. Anyway, so fans of JayZ are now pressuring him to cut his ties for his holiday line at Barney's. I think that this would be perfect for him to just cut the ties, and I'm going to tell you why. Because JayZ said that he doesn't want to do anything until he said through a spokesperson that he wants to wait for all the facts before deciding what to do. You know what the facts are. Don't act like you didn't grow up like some of us. Walking through department stores and walking through life, getting the side eye from everybody. Until you became a big, wealthy rap star and you're married to your beautiful wife, and now you are wealthy. It's not rich, it's wealth. He's got generational wealth right now. So these few little dollars that he's going to make, and by the way, allegedly his line at the holidays is not for his pocket, it's for scholarship funds for kids. Well, write the check. Write the check or send him the chain or something, you know? The lawyer lady upstairs wants me to say alleged every time that I say this racially profile thing, but I'm sure that this was exactly what these kids said that this was. And with the holiday season coming, unfortunately, there are going to be more cases like this happening. And it's not just about racial profiling. It's about, I don't care if you're, you know, lily white, but if you're 15 years old and you're with 3 of your 14 and 15-year-old friends, you're also public enemy #1 at the mall. Nobody wants you walking through Neiman Marcus, and they look at you side-eye. I'm not saying I don't want you. I'm saying this is the way a lot of stores look at certain pockets of society. So you don't need to wait for the report, JayZ. You know what it is. Write that check and dissolve your relationship.